like to present in this talk to you the first part of our FAIRification journey of the core dataset of the Medical Informatics Initiative, which we started last fall. The Medical Informatics Initiative was created a couple of years ago to close the gap between healthcare and research in Germany. To start with, I shortly present to you the core dataset itself. It was developed by the Medical Informatics Initiative to facilitate research on clinical routine data across hospitals in Germany, and is divided into 7 basic modules and several extension modules, like you can see on the screen. The basic modules define what data records must at a minimum be captured and stored by our data integration centers for all inpatients. The data integration centers were set at the university medical sites and are responsible for collecting data from the research and the healthcare of a university hospital. For the core dataset, both domain and technical experts were involved and worked together in the development in order to create a core dataset that is based on IT and terminology standards. We started our FAIRification journey as part of the Fair Impact, Fair Assessment Challenge. The goal was to find out if and how we could improve the findability, accessibility, interoperability, and reusability, the so-called fairness of the core dataset. The Fair Impact is a project conducted by the European Open Science Cloud, which aims to facilitate the implementation of fair enabling practices, tools, and services across scientific communities. The workshop were divided into 3 workshops. The challenge was divided into 3 workshops in which we were introduced to various fair assessment tools and were guided in how to use them by the tutors of the different tools. For everybody who never verified data before, I like to roughly explain to you the individual steps. At first, you assess the fairness of your data, which helps to detect how you make your data more fair. For that, it is important to choose a tool that fits your specific data and context. You have multiple options here. There are, for example, manual and automatic tools, and also different tools for different domains. After you run your assessment, you see what can be improved. A remark at this point, a low baseline score is very common and nothing that needs to be hidden. That is the reason you conduct your assessment. There are usually 2 groups of things that could be improved. Data that is there, but not in the necessary or best format, and data that is missing and needs to be added. Afterwards, you use the results of your assessment to decide on what further fair steps you want to take based on feasibility. And after you proceed all these different steps, you repeat the process until you turn the fair assessment score you are satisfied with. Another remark here, score of 100% is very unlikely and needs a lot of time and effort. So you should discern when it is no longer fruitful, continue investing in the verification of your specific data set. Yes. For our assessment, we choose the FAIR Data Maturity Model, short FDMM, from the Research Data Alliance. The FDMM consists of 41 indicators divided into the 4 areas: findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. We initially only carried out the assessment for the module person. So you can see on the first figure an excerpt from our FAIR assessment for that specific module. And the second figure shows the fulfillment of the 4 different areas. This is an extremely good result, which can be attributed to the fact that many different experts work together in the development, and the core data set is specifically designed to be used as an interoperability standard. But as you can see, there's still room for improvements, as shown by the interoperability indicator on my next slide. Metadata uses knowledge representation expressed in standardized format. As you can maybe see, it's a little bit small, but maybe see on the figures, there are terminology terms for date of birth. You can see it here in the green bubble. There are, for example, LOINC codes and SNOMED CT code, but we don't have any terminology terms for the name, or more specific, the first name here, even though there are terms that might be can used, like the SNOMED CT CT code for forename. So now let's have a look on the further steps of our FAIRification. We identified improvement potential in adding a machine-readable license, qualified references, and provenance information. And with this, we meet again with the Core Dataset task force to discuss what further steps we can implement, so we can have a more fair core dataset as the end result. To close my talk, I would like to give you something to remember while working with FAIR. Making your data fair takes time and effort. Don't be scared, low baseline scores are common and significant improvement is within reach. And to close with, together we can generate fairer data every day. And now I come to my acknowledgements that are all the people involved in this project, which I like to thank for the cooperation. And that are my references. And with that, I thank you for your attention.
Hi, thank you for your talk. At the NFDI conference, CORDI conference, so the central conference of the National Research Data Infrastructure in Karlsruhe, there was a presentation about the comparison of different FAIR assessment tools, like 5 or 7 in this range. And all of them give different results, very different results. So what is your recommendation now to which tool should we use? I mean, or how do we choose the best tool for the best purposes? I mean, you can always blind yourself by choosing the tool that fits best to your data. But so how do you do like a fair, or let's say like a more subjective way or objective way of choosing the right assessment tool?
I think in the beginning it's really difficult to choose one of those many tools for your data set, especially if you never worked with FAIR before. I think, yeah, as I said, there are different tools for different domains. So at first you maybe should look at what other people in your domain uses as a tool for your their assessment. And maybe that could be a hint what you can use. And also, if you have the time, use multiple tools, maybe not 10, but like 2 or 3. If you have the time, if you're already in there, and see what the different tools guide you and how improve your data. What should be there? That would be my suggestions. If you don't have the time, look what tools there and look at them and see what would you say would fit the best, I would say.
But do they have like a uniform API that you can just plug in and then change the tool, or is it difficult to vary the tools?
For the manual tools, you can just use them and go through. Most of them are like little checklists. You can go through them and just check and look, is a indicator in this case fulfilled or not. For automatic tools, I'm not quite sure. I'm not working with automatic tools so much by now. But I guess if you know how they're working, that's should be quite simple to use them, but as I said, I never used one before. Thanks.
While the next question is coming, just a comment about this question. So indeed, the difference across different fairness evaluators is known by the community, and there have been already efforts around this to have like a fairness governance around this. So it's a work that has been started in EOSC, and I think it will continue with Fair Impact, if I'm not mistaken. So more will come, and hopefully it will make life of researchers easier also, because it's not easy to select one tool over the other one. Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to ask a question. Mm-hmm. So you were presenting this FAIRification workflow. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the FAIRification workflows require direct and manual input from humans because there are no automatic means. The metadata really doesn't exist anywhere. Or even if you can use automatic means, machine learning, for instance, there is no data set that will allow you to create a learning process with machine learning pipelines. What is your experience with the community about the engagement of the researchers, engagement of the people? Do they see the value? Do they hesitate? Is it too much work for them?
I think we're now at the point where the things change. A colleague of mine does a lot of verification before, and she recognized that it's hard to convince people. But I think now that everybody heard of FAIR and see the benefit of it, maybe the people are more open to really invest the time to really work on their data. And my experience on our work was that we really work great together with the people from the task force from the core data set, and they really want that we look at the data and see what we can improve. So I think it also depends on the data set we're looking at. I would say not it isn't worth on every data set to spend a lot of time in the FAIRification, but for that one, I'm quite happy with how that works.